Thank you very much, Chairman Runyon and Ranking Member McNary and distinguished members. Thank you for this opportunity to present to you the bill, H.R. 2355, which we're calling the Hallowed Grounds Act. During a town hall that I held in my district last year, a woman stood up and asked for my help and relayed a heart-wrenching story of her childhood and the sexual abuse that she endured at the hands of her father. He was a veteran, and when he passed away, he was buried in a national cemetery with full honors. And she asked me to please stop this injustice and do everything we can to prevent this from happening again. He received the distinction afforded to war heroes, despite violating his family's trust, abusing his child, and committing a violent crime. To honor this man with reverence and fanfare is a disgrace. Under current law, military veterans are entitled to burial in a Veterans or National Cemetery and to the receipt of honorary emoluments, including a military honor guard, a U.S. flag, and a certificate from the President. These honors rightly honor the Americans who have given of themselves so all in our nation can live in safety and in peace. However, there is a noteworthy exception. Following the Oklahoma City bombing by Timothy McVeigh, Congress passed and President Clinton signed S. 923 on November 21, 1997, which prohibits veterans convicted of a capital crime such as murder and treason from receiving military honors. Prior to this legislation, McVeigh, a veteran of the First Gulf War, would have been eligible to be buried in a national cemetery such as Arlington. While veterans guilty of capital crimes justly have been denied the right to rest among our national heroes under this bill, veterans convicted of sexual abuse of children still remain entitled to these honors. During my research on the need to introduce the Hallowed Grounds Act, after my constituent shared her story, I discovered that almost identical legislation called Jenny's Law was introduced by Representative John Shadegg during the last Congress and included in the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2011 that passed in the House. Regrettably, that legislation was stripped from the final bill due to the lame duck session in 2010 and need to pass quickly the NDAA before the end of the year. I thank Representative Shadegg for his work in the past, and the House passed support for the idea on this important issue. But while knowing that my constituent's case is not an isolated case is a terrible realization, this reality highlights the fact that work must be done to prevent the burial of serious sexual offenders in our treasured national cemeteries. Current law afforded military honors to veterans convicted of sexual abuse is an affront to decency and results in victims and their families being victimized all over again. It demeans the honor of all those who have served this nation to allow a child abuser to be buried alongside Americans' war heroes in a veteran cemetery. Because I believe that no victim of sexual abuse should suffer the pain of knowing their abuser has received the honor befitting one who selflessly served others, I introduced the Hallowed Grounds Act. The Hallowed Grounds Act will prohibit an individual who is classified as a Tier 3 sex offender under the Sex Offender Registration and Notification Act from being buried at a veterans or national cemetery. The Sex Offender Registration and Notification Act divides offenses into 3 tiers and has various levels within those tiers. The most serious offenses are grouped in Tier 3. These individuals have committed horrendous crimes against children accompanied by brutality and violence. These offenders behave in a manner that violates everything for which a soldier in our country fights: justice, the rule of law, and safety of our citizens. I believe these offenders have surrendered their right to be honored by victimizing and oppressing others. During my time in Congress, I'm committed to ensuring that those veterans who have fought honorably in defending our great nation receive the utmost respect and care they deserve. Veterans put their lives on the lines to preserve our nation's freedom, and we owe them an immeasurable debt of gratitude. The Hallowed Grounds Act will continue that work by making certain every man and every woman buried in our veterans or national cemeteries will not share their final resting place with someone who has committed such horrific crimes. I appreciate your interest in the importance of this bill, and I ask for your support. It is vital that the final resting place of our heroes, our national cemeteries, remain hallowed grounds for our veterans who have served so valiantly and for the families who hold them dear. Thank you very much.